Okay. All right, guys. So hopefully you can all see my screen now and hear me okay. So like I said, this week it's just all about reframing stress. Okay. So first thing I think it's important to identify actually what is stress. We kind of label things as, oh, this is really stressful, I'm feeling stressed, but what are we actually feeling and what is actually going on in that stress process? So essentially, when you're stressed, the stress hormone cortisol is released in your body. It's flooding through the body. And your organs can only filter out stress hormones for 30% of the day. So if you're stressed, essentially, for more than 30% of your day, that acidic chemical of cortisol and adrenaline builds up in the body and creates an acidic environment. Okay, so that acidic environment creates inflammation in the body and reduces our immune system. So stress essentially is just very, very toxic for the body. Okay, so how does stress actually impact our health? So in our society, we often see our mind and our body as two separate things, okay? However, they're very much interconnected, and a healthy mind supports a healthy body, and a healthy body cultivates a healthy mind, okay? So stress absolutely has a really big impact on the body, okay? And these are just a handful of sort of physical impacts that it has. So it reduces your immune system, so you're more prone to illness, can reduce your fertility, causes digestion issues, increases inflammation, blood pressure, risk of stroke, increases risk of heart attack, increases headaches, and increases anxiety disorders and depression. So it's really important not to just think of stress as this thing that exists in your mind, and that actually it has a really kind of two-way impact on the body. So this is a simple kind of process of the stress cycle. So stress was originally designed to keep us safe. So as cavemen, we would predict the danger. If we could predict the danger, we'd have more chance of avoiding it. So if there was a bear trying to chase us, okay, that stress would flood our body and allow us to run away faster, fight harder, or freeze to increase our chance of survival. Okay, so we no longer have to run away from tigers and bears, okay, but we have different ongoing daily fears. We've got finances, relationships, parenting demands, work demands, and so on. And our brain still reacts to those stresses in the same way. So that means if we're not aware or in control of our thoughts, we'll spend most of our day searching for those dangers and not expelling the stress hormones out of the body. All right, so after a while, this will lead us to really experience anxiety or eventually depression mentally, or inflammation or disease physically, okay? So this simple process here, as you can see in this visual, is the stress cycle. So we start with the stressor, and the triggers of stress can vary from individual to individual, but this is something, a stressor is something that's causing you stress. So from this stressor, we then have our own reaction to the stress. And again, this is really personal to each individual. So maybe just think about, how do you react when you're stressed? You might get angry, you might get depressed, frantic, quiet or withdrawn. You might try and numb it or distract yourself in some way. Okay, so maybe reflect a little bit. How do I react and act when I'm stressed? So if the way we react to stress is negative, and this happens on a sort of consistent, frequent basis, this is going to lead to wear and tear on the body. And that's going to affect our overall health, especially if we're operating in a kind of constant, steady level of stress on a daily basis. So as our health declines, we'll develop more health issues, which can then become yet another contributor to the stresses in our lives. Okay, and now we've got our health to worry about. And so the cycle continues. Okay, so we can't expect stresses just to not exist in our lives, okay? We're human beings, we live on the earth, and we can't control everything around us, but we can do our best to control our reaction to the stresses, which can help cultivate a different, more empowering, healthier perspective. Okay, so how can we reduce stress? This is something we all want to do, okay? Every single person on the planet, we just want to reduce our stress levels. So firstly, we have to train the mind to go where we want it to go. So instead of allowing it to wander off to places that don't serve us, we must learn how to master the mind so that it doesn't master us, okay? So that we have more control. What we think becomes. So instead of thinking about what you don't want to happen, trying to move your thoughts with positive psychology to think about what you do want to happen, okay? Or instead, seeing something we're worried about as a threat, you could change your lens to see it as an opportunity to grow, to get stronger. So again, just changing your perspective. Could this challenge, this threat, this stress be something I could really benefit from, or I could really learn from? Okay, could this help me develop personally, professionally, etc.? And if you're struggling with both those points, a really brilliant sort of go-to is low intensity exercise, because high intensity exercise, can increase cortisol, increase adrenaline. So if you're someone who loves going for runs regularly, or does your HIIT or CrossFit or something like that, that is high intensity exercise. So low intensity exercise, such as yoga, swimming, walking, will help remove that excess cortisol from the body, okay? So how can we actually start to train the mind? So first we need to understand the basic principle that if we're in conflict in our mind, we're not in ease, okay? So if we have stress and resistance and conflict in the mind, we're not in ease. So in other words, we're in dis-ease. Okay, our body is a messenger that will show us that we're out of balance through disease, okay, illness. So in order to be well physically, we have to find ease mentally, okay, and this is where the interconnection of the mind and the body really comes into play. So to do that, we need to understand the fundamental idea that we cannot always change our external circumstances, okay? Especially this past year and what we're still going through, we can't change what's going on with COVID and, you know, how our lives are kind of having to be at the moment. We can't really change that, okay? That's a waste of energy, and that can leave us feeling really powerful, really frustrated, and eventually very drained. So the only thing we can actually change is how we react to that. So our reactions are determined by the internal wiring of the mind. Okay, so the way that our thoughts are kind of networked together. So we can only change what we know. Okay, we can use the practice of meditation to observe our current thought patterns and our current thoughts to be able to identify which thoughts actually serve us and they're positive and they're helping us, and which ones are not, which ones are draining. So when we bring our deeply ingrained thought patterns into light, and we can kind of discover, oh my gosh, I don't realize that I'm kind of telling myself that story all the time, or that's a natural way of thinking that I always kind of go to, we can start to make change, okay? In a way that means we won't get so stressed or anxious or angry, and in turn, that will help improve our overall health, all right? So that's enough talking, and now it's time to kind of just put some of those points into practice. So just get really comfortable wherever you are, whether you're on the sofa, on your bed, either in a seated position or lying down, okay? And just get really relaxed, and just before you close your eyes, okay, keep your eyes open, just take a deep breath in, and then a big sigh out. Just remember you're on mute, so you can make those sighs out as big, as loud as you need to, and just do a few of those. Inhale through the nose, and exhale, let it go. Do that as many times as you want. And as you exhale, just try to let go of any holding on in the body, so any physical tightness or tension. You know, maybe you're clamping your jaw, or your hands have tension in your fists or your shoulders. Just start to gently soften the body. And then with your next exhale, just gently blink your eyes closed. Now, I know that many of us are at home and probably surrounded by multiple distractions: kids, pets, family members, TVs in another room, the whizzing of a washing machine, whatever it is. Okay, we definitely are not in our lovely, calm Zen yoga studio. All right, but that's okay. And in fact, that helps sort of strengthen our practice. So just start with your eyes closed by tuning into any sounds or distractions that are around you. Maybe inside the room you're in, maybe sounds from another room. Any noises from outside. Just welcome all those noises in and just allow your mind to focus on one and then the other and then to the other. There might be one sound or distraction that feels much more dominant than the others. Or maybe you're in quite a peaceful, quiet space and you can just observe that, noticing how it feels to be in silence, perhaps. Now just allow your mind to drift off anywhere. There's no need to control it. Just allow any thoughts or feelings to show up. Allow the mind to wander free wherever it goes. Just observe where it goes. Allow the mind to hop from thought to thought. I'm going to just let you do this for a minute or two, just in silence, just to really allow yourself to observe whatever's going on in your head right now. Just remembering not to judge any thoughts that come up. Just notice, be curious. Where's the mind going? Maybe the mind is jumping from one thought to the other quite quickly, or maybe there's something that's holding your attention, something that's standing out to you. Now just start to delve in a little bit deeper into those thoughts and just notice if any of these thoughts that you're having are stressors. So, do any of those thoughts or feelings that are showing up for you at the moment have any underlying worry, anger, anxiety, overwhelm? Try to identify any of those stressors. Allow your mind to explore what might be stressful for you currently. Don't worry if this feels a bit uncomfortable and it can bring up quite strong emotions for you. You're absolutely not alone. Just try and stay in that sort of detached observation of what shows up. Just noticing what is there and being kind with yourself in the process. And just notice what story you're telling yourself. Are you judging yourself in this thought? Do you feel threatened or fearful of something? And what is the impact of this stress, of this stressor? Why is this thought or situation stressful for you? I'm trying to experience this observation almost like a bird's eye view. So you're far away from it. You're just looking at the whole 360 approach and perspective of the situation. And having identified, hopefully by now, what thing or a few things might be a stressor for us at the moment, just kindly ask yourself, is there another way that I could see this? Is this actually true? Could this challenge maybe be an opportunity for me? An opportunity to grow? Does my health really need to be impacted by this stressor? Maybe focus on another similar situation that you've been through, that you've coped with, and it all turned out okay. Take this time to be curious and reflect on these few points here. Maybe start to visualize what your life or yourself would look like without this stressor. What would change? What would be different? How would you feel? And knowing you can empower yourself to achieve that just through changing your lens, changing your perspective, applying a different angle of looking at it, turning challenge into opportunity. And calm and relaxed, breathing in and out through the nose. And as you start to create that shift in perspective on your thoughts, just notice how that makes you feel. That positive change of the lens. Notice how that makes you feel physically. Can you relax more? Notice how you relax a little bit more. Noticing how your breathing deepens and your jaw relaxes. Allowing the chair, the sofa or the bed to just take the weight of your body. Knowing that you can take control and choose however you want to react to any stress in your life. Breathing in and breathing out. Enjoying this time to be still, to be relaxed. Knowing that you can take on any stress that comes your way, making sure that your health is made the priority. And gently bringing your awareness back from wherever your mind wandered off to, bringing it back to the body, back to the room, the space around you, touching your thumbs to your fingers, or wiggling your toes, starting to deepen the breath a little bit more. And in your own time, whenever you feel ready, just gently blinking your eyes open, unless you want to stay here in your relaxed position for a little bit longer. And just gently coming back up to a seat if you're lying down, blinking the eyes open, just checking in with how you feel just after 10-15 minutes of being still with your body, giving yourself that time. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this quick half-an-hour session. I hope that was beneficial. Does anybody have any questions at all? I know most of you are on mute, but you can pop any questions in the chat if you like. Okay, and enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that and have a lovely weekend. Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tasha, Helen, Sarah. Yeah, this is definitely being recorded. So yeah, if you came in a bit late, don't worry about that. This is all recorded and you will get the link. So no problem there, Emily. All right, thanks, guys. See you soon. You're welcome. Thanks, Heidi. Okay, bye, guys. See you soon.